You are now listening to Artists at Work.
Artists at Work.
Artists at Work. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Artists at Work podcast. I am your host, 1AM. Artists at Work podcast is all about taking a closer look into independent artists and art. So today we are talking to a super talented, super unique artist by the name of Trianna. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Trianna Feruza. I'm a local singer-songwriter out of Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah. And if you do not know who she is, like, please go and look at all her shit, because I was just doing a refresh of just some of your content because I follow you. I'll be sneaking on your YouTube and whatnot, you know, and I'm just like always blown away by like some of the stuff that you post, like all those acapellas and shit like that. I'm just like, damn. And then Can't Get Enough EP, right? That one? That was the most recent one?
It was.
Yeah, that one's very unique. So for all the audience that doesn't know who you are, doesn't know anything about you, why don't you give us a background of like how you started, all that jazz? Like, who is Trianna? Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to shout you out. I know everyone on here knows 1AM, but I remember seeing you for the first time performing at the Loud House when they had that female showcase. And I just remember being like, who is this bitch, dude? I was like, because I was at this point where I was like, wow, you know, like Santa Cruz, like Watsonville, Gilroy area, like where are the female MCs? Like where do they exist? How can I find them? And then like you magically appeared under really nice purple and blue lighting, and I was like, yeah, there we go. So that was awesome. That's a very fond memory I have of you. And I've also been stalking you ever since. Who am I? What am I doing as an artist? That's a really great question. How did I get started? I think how I got started was I come from a family of performers and musicians. Like my grandfather was in this band called Kaleidoscope that toured with the Dead, and he used to play with Jimi Hendrix at after hours bars and toured the world and did really amazing, incredible stuff, which made my dad kind of part of the belly dance scene growing up. My grandmother, my dad's mom, created the Dancers Union. Oh, wow. Back in the 60s in Los Angeles. And so I come from like really rich musical roots. And there's this music festival that I've gone to. My parents met at this music festival. That's this small festival in the hills of Fresno. And they met there. And then I came along. And my first memory that I can really solidly remember is being, I think maybe 2 or 3 years old. And my dad had a top on, which is this drum that you have where you strap it over your shoulders and play with sticks. And it like sticks out in front of you. And I had this little red vest and these purple harem pants. And I remember standing on top of the drum and having my brother playing violin and my grandpa playing chimbush, which is basically like a Turkish banjo. And my mom and sister both belly dancing, and me just on this drum with like a bunch of people dancing around us. There must have been like 200 people present. And I just remember like this sea of people and me being on the drum being like, yeah. I didn't know the words at the time, but I was like, fuck yeah, bitch. Like just little 3-year-old me on top of the drum. And I think after that, I knew I was going to be a performer for my entire life. Like there was just that feeling is one of the first like, oh my God, I'm a person moments. So fast forwarding from there, I'd been doing the belly dance scene. And when I was about 7, the women in my family are more dancers and singers, and the men play instruments and sing. And so being the little confused bi child that I was like, I don't understand, but I want to be like the boys. I want to watch pretty dancers, but I didn't really understand what all of that meant yet. So my mom was like, oh, Trianna, you're 7. Like it's time to start dance lessons. And I was like, screw you, Mom. I'm going to play instruments like the boys. I'm not going to dance. Wish that I had just done everything, but I didn't. And I picked up piano. And then when I was about 8, I picked up poetry and started writing poetry until I was about 11, and I had been
Wow.
playing piano from 7 up until that point, and then I picked up the guitar when I was 11 and realized that all of my poetry had like a nice cadence. And I was like, I'm going to teach myself guitar, which is really intimidating when you have a family of really good musicians, because they're like playing you a lick and be like, yeah, just do this. And you're like, I'm 11 and I'm not that fast. Like, I, no. So it was a little frustrating at first, but then I recorded a project with David Satori from Beats Antique, who's a dear family friend, when I was, I think, 12, which I never released and need to re-record and release at some point. But that was really like my beginning into live music. I remember when I was 13, there's a law in California that states if you're under 18 as a musician, as long as the manager of the bar pays you, they could pay you $1, but as long as you're paid, you are legally allowed to be in a place where they're serving liquor to set up your set and tear down. And so I remember getting that law laminated, and I would carry it around with me to all of our belly dance shows and all of the family gigs and stuff. And I remember just feeling so cool, being like, yeah, I can get into a bar. I mean, I'm not doing shit except for playing, but I can be here.
Hell yeah.
And then from there on out, it was really just like band after band after band after project. And then I moved up to Portland in 2019, and I could record myself on GarageBand before that and worked with other producers. But until I was about 19, I didn't record myself. But I went to school and I got a music certificate and learned audio engineering, and was finally able to do my own stuff and not have to really have anybody to do or mix anything, which was rad, where I still love collaborating with people, but it's not the same as me vibing out in my room being like, yeah, what if the kick was like, doo-da? And I don't have to explain to anybody like what that timbre means or anything. So that's cool. And then I got here. So I've been solidly playing for the past 8-9 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's a lot.
That's amazing though, to like be surrounded, like just fucking out birth practically. I mean, like, who knows? You could have been conceived at a fucking music festival too,
I have information that I was.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense though. Like that's super cool. Like for me, it didn't start. I mean, I was like, my brother and my mom, they were into music, but nobody was a musician like around me. Nobody was into any of that. It was just like the love of music, So to start where you did at a young age with instruments, like that's amazing. And like now for me, I'm like getting interested in like, ooh, I want to play guitar and whatnot. So like you're definitely an inspiration like when it comes to that, because
you want lessons,
dude, fuck
I'm
yeah.
a music teacher. I teach. Let's do it.
So since starting on the piano and the guitar, are there any other instruments that you know how to play?
I play piano, I play guitar, I play cajon, I can play chimbush, I can play a little bit of oud. I'm absolute shit at the trumpet, but I can play the mouth trumpet.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, it's my secret restaurant thing where people will just think they came for voice and guitar, and then I bust out the mouth trumpet and they're like, what are you doing with your face? Because with a mask you can't see what I'm doing.
Right.
It's just my little
They make you perform with a mask on or what?
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. So I'm curious too, because you said that you went to school for music and now you pretty much produce yourself and mix and master all your stuff?
No, I am not a mastering engineer.
Okay.
I am very convinced on what I need work on and what I'm good at.
Okay.
I can mix my own vocals. I don't really release a lot of the stuff that I do myself just because I'm a perfectionist and am broke as fuck. So I don't have a lot of the packs and the preamps that a lot of my my producer buddies do.
Okay.
So really I'll do the first mix and I'll mix my vocals the way that I like them, and then I'll have them like tweak the beat and add all the preamps, and I'll write down a little checklist of the things that I know they have, and I make a lot of Google Drives where I'll be
Okay.
like, I want this, and this at this time signature, and this time signature. But really, I do like the initial shit.
Okay.
And then I outsource because I'm just really lucky to have a community of really talented people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a mastering engineer. I don't have the fucking patience. I just don't. So I'm happy to pay other people, which is why I'm so broke. I'm like, I need to make the music that I really like, and I work too much to sit and learn this shit, nor do I have the right room. So
Yeah, no.
you go.
I feel it. But I mean, it definitely translates to the music though, because that EP, that was like the only like work of art that I was like, okay, I can definitely hear the quality is like super vamped up. Like at least for me in the headphones I was listening to, I was like, damn, like these are all like, you could tell these are like some live instruments, and like I don't know, I can imagine you guys in the studio like recording it as you were performing it in that EP.
The really cool thing about that EP was that I had moved to Portland kind of in the middle of recording it.
Mm-hmm.
So I recorded it with my buddy Jackie Dope, amazing producer, amazing MC. He's a bad motherfucker. But he mixed and mastered that entire thing. And I had the guitar players were my dear friend Scott Stobie and my dear friend Nick Teo. I had Finn Stobie on the bass, which is cool. The Stobies are dear family friends of ours. And then I had my buddy Isabel on the saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because they were in Santa Cruz and I was in Portland, and I would be able to FaceTime and like listen to takes on the computer, and then I would record vocals at like I met a lot of people in Portland because they would go to like open mic nights and say they had a studio, and I'd be like, I actually really need to record some vocals. Like, can I give you $20 to come in for 30 minutes? Like, that's all I need. So I did a lot of outsourcing and met a lot of random people that are now dear friends of mine, just being like, I need studio time. Please help me.
But it's perfect networking though too.
It is. No, it was good. It was good. I'm nothing if not extroverted.
Okay, yeah. I can feel that.
Yeah.
That's good though. It's good though because you're the life of the party pretty much, you know.
It's true. Sometimes I wish that I'd shut the fuck up. You know, it's very interesting to talk when you disassociate and your brain turns off, but your mouth keeps moving. And sometimes I'm like, bitch, like shut the fuck up, man. Just take a breather. Not everybody has to know everything. And I'm like,
good.
but remember this fact that I learned 2 minutes ago. Very excited.
Well, at least no one will be like bored around you, you know?
That's very true. Annoyed, but not bored.
So, like, do you consider yourself an independent artist?
Yes. I am not on any labels.
Have you ever been?
No. Not to say that I wouldn't.
Okay.
What I would really like to do is I would really like to it's not necessarily being famous that I'm shooting for, but in my life I want to have an impactful career performance wise that makes it so that I can support causes, you know, like have the audience and have the reach to make a difference. And I would love to be able to live comfortably and travel the world recording and touring and have that be my job that pays the bills. Like, doesn't necessarily have to be like Michael Jackson or like Anderson .Paak, you know, and I'm at the Grammys. Like, not saying I wouldn't love a Grammy.
Right.
I would love to have one. It'd be great, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to record and tour for the next 45 years. And performing is one of those things for me that I'm sure you understand this too. When you do a certain something that makes your heart beat. It feels better than anything has ever felt and anything will ever feel again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's performance for me, is just it's what makes being alive so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of my favorite things to do. It's so much fun. That connection. It's basically, being a performer is being a wizard. That's basically what I'm chasing. I'm like, I want to be a wizard or a mage or a paladin, just to drop some D&D references right there. But yeah, I love being the administrator of an atmosphere. I love when you and the audience have an energy exchange, and it's mutualism, where it is such a important back and forth. It's an ebb and flow, and it's this beautiful thing, which music is, where like if I didn't understand a word of the language you were speaking, you could still play a song and it would make me feel something. Like I could still understand. And I have been a lot of places around the world and have not found a better universal language than music. Music is the universal language, man.
Yeah. Dude. No, yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Like,
excuse me while I geek out. I'm like, I love music, man. I love it so much.
No, yeah, that's the fucking the best feeling, is like just it's like a weird, indescribable feeling, yet we try to describe it and it just doesn't really.
No, there's no words.
Yeah,
yet
it's something
we
that
love
you
words.
just feel. You just straight up feel it. So that's beautiful. That's fucking beautiful. And yeah, you can tell, like, in your performances, like, you can feel that fucking energy exchange just happening.
Same with you, because you take the time to sit there for hours figuring out cadences and flows and what you like listening to, and you get to have those moments where you're making a song for your favorite artist. That's an exercise I like to do a lot, is like, what if I was going to make a song for Anderson .Paak? Like, how would I write it? Or what if I was going to make a song for KRS-One? Like, what would I do? What if I made a song for R.I. the Rugged Man? Like, what if I made a song for Summer Walker or Etta James? Like, how would I do it? And it's so cool to grow and to have that discography, which I'm sure you understand as well, is to like look back on all of your tunes and be like, I know the exact fucking point in my life where I was when I wrote this. And you'll hear little inflections and you'll be like, fuck that bitch. that second line in verse 2, that bitch, fuck him.
No, yeah, fuck yeah. What's crazy is like, because I know, like, for me, I'm just more of like a songwriter, and I guess like a beat producer or whatever. I wouldn't consider it like completely composing, but for you, you're translating it through your voice, your lyrics, and through your fucking instrument. So like that's even more like,
I wouldn't knock yourself. You're a bad motherfucker.
I'm just saying like I guess that extra element into it just brings a whole nother fucking level. Cause like right now I'm on the vibe of like mixing hip hop with like live instruments. Like that's what is drawing me in, you know what I mean? So like,
we should kick it,
dude. Fuck yeah, don't worry, we will. I'm in Santa Cruz. We will.
I really want to be friends.
We will have a jam session at the Loud House for sure. Just fucking around,
I love it.
So like, from what I know about you now, even more is like, so you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a composer, lightweight engineer, right? Audio engineer, you do your own thing. And I've heard you rap before, you freestyle and shit. So like,
I do. So one of the things I really liked about Portland was they had a rap battle scene and like a hip hop dance scene. And me and my best friend Malia, we would go to all of these shows and shit. And I did some rap battles, and like I didn't know nobody, so I just thought about like 8 Mile, and I just like ripped this dude apart at this rap battle, and like didn't make any friends. But everyone was like, you can rap, but you didn't have to put him on blast like that. And I was like, oops. I was like, I've never been to one of these before. I thought being mean was funny. I mean, I crushed the shit out of it. I won.
Yeah.
But I was not kind.
Nah, that's cool though. Like you
It
have
was. No, it was
you
good.
know,
But I was like, I almost made a grown man cry. Like, Trianna, you better
sometimes you just
calm
gotta
down.
do that shit. Sometimes you just gotta do that shit, you know?
Yeah, let my inner Eminem out. I'm like, I'm gonna rob your house, eat a rotisserie chicken. Like,
So how would you describe your music to someone who has never heard it before?
all right, I get asked this question a lot, and I got a lot of branding shit that I really need to work out. But to the best, okay, so I think that my favorite time that I've ever described it, somebody asked it to me, and I was like a little too crossfaded to like understand the English language properly. And what I said to them is, I was like, "Yo, okay, check this. My music is like a donut, where there's like pop R&B dough with like some jazz hip hop icing with like world music sprinkles, and there's funk jelly inside of this donut." And they were like, "Okay, so basically you're everything." And I'm like, "Yes,
Fuck yeah.
you can take a bite whenever you see fit." And I felt so cool. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a donut, bitch."
Dude, that's fucking perfect. Like that's a fucking perfect ass picture.
Yeah.
That's like some psycho donut shit. Like
Yeah, it is. I mean, I am a psycho donut, really. Like, that's what everybody needs to know about me. Psycho donut over here.
That's
Lots,
perfect though.
lots
Like
of layers.
that's perfect though, cause like you're probably you're like the second person other than Lou Noise that I hear talk about jazz, like when they talk about their style and their music.
Etta James and Ella Fitzgerald and Esmeralda Spalding, and just, oh my God, the amount of like Doris Day, the amount of just amazing, mellifluous, kick-ass, powerful singer ladies are all like old school jazz heads. Like, if you can't scat, like, I don't know if you could kick it at a jam, man. Like, I think that that's where like most of my freestyles come from, like singing Ella Fitzgerald songs, and be like, and now I'm like, oh, I now understand cadence because I listened to Ella Fitzgerald, where like if she rapped, Ella Fitzgerald would kick some ass, bro. Like,
No doubt.
she's like, I got bebop. I'm like, damn, bro, that's kind of scary.
No, but that's amazing because that's that and funk as well.
Yeah, I had a band for a long time. We're still like kind of together, we're like not performing, but we jam a lot. Is Side Piece,
Okay.
who are just like my best friends in the whole wide world. And we just funk it out so hard. And really, like, I think that going forward, performance wise, I do a lot of pop stuff, but as far as live performance goes, it's all about the fucking funk, dude.
Mhm.
If people aren't shaking booties, you not doing it right.
Mhm. If you don't feel that bass coming through, right?
If your chest isn't vibrating, it is not a banging gig.
Exactly. I always wanted to know, I was curious because I've seen how many bands have you been in? And what is your experience like being in a band?
A lot. A lot of bands. Wow. This
Let's take a trip back memory lane.
being a stoner, I have a great memory. So good. So good. I think my first like band was when I was in middle school. Me and my friends put together the musical Cats.
Okay.
And I put together a band to play for the musical, which we did in a living room. All of our parents showed up. It was a very fun wine and dine event. So I think that was my first band. And then I've always been in the Feldhouse Family Circus, which is my family's band. I was part of this band called Soul Nova. There's also this band Soul Bloom Collective. There's been Side Piece. There's been the Funketeers. There have been Pixie and the Hot Pockets,
Nice.
which was only really like a 3-week endeavor, like a little before high school, where I was like, yeah, we're Pixie and the Hot Pockets coming in with that cheese. And I'm like, all I'm going to do is write love songs. But I hadn't really been in love before, so the project didn't really work out. Which I later learned that if you write about yourself and your shit that you've been through to start off with, it's a little more palpable. I was like, I'm gonna write about being a space alien. I was like, I don't know shit about it, but I play Dungeons and Dragons and I feel overqualified. But it took me a while to get to the point where now I could actually rap about being an alien and it's cohesive.
Nice.
But then, yeah, there's been Side Piece. There's been, I just started a new band with this keyboard player that I've been working with for the past year and a half. His name is Gianni Stagnano. And we're figuring out a name for our project. Right now we're on Trianni. You can follow us at trianni.music on Instagram. But that's been the project that I've been doing. Me and Jackie Dope have done a lot of things. I've worked with a lot of people, but it hasn't really been bands recently.
Okay.
I think that's it. What was the other question?
What was that experience like, just being in different bands? Like,
going through puberty and being in bands is so odd. So weird. Like, really, everybody's just got to figure it out for a while. And most bands break up because somebody starts fucking. Like, and it gets weird. And people don't tell other people. And then people's feelings get hurt. And it's a whole thing. But for me, it was always pretty drama-free and everything. I really played with older cats for a long time, where I was the lead singer for a lot of bands that were made up of people that were in like their like late 30s through like 50s, which was tons of fun. I learned a lot. I did a lot of jazz gigs, which was awesome. Did a lot of reggae stuff. But then after my first like middle school bands and shit, I didn't really do bands in high school. But then I started doing it and playing with the older cats. And then my first band, when I was like really like felt established within myself as a musical creator, was Side Piece. And it was badass, because not that playing with older cats isn't great. It's awesome. You learn a lot and people are kick ass no matter what age they are. But a lot of the times, if somebody's been playing a song for the past 30 years a specific way, it's really hard to convince them to try other things. And it's really frustrating to try to be innovative with people that, like, musicians, we're a cocky bunch of narcissists is really what we are. Like, I'm sure you can relate, where you're like, I have this thing and it's mine and I know exactly how I want it done because I know this thing and this is my groove and everything you just don't understand because I'll tell you. And that's all like fun and everything. I do it too, but playing with Side Piece, which was different, was that we were all young and we were all learning a lot really quickly and like hungry to try new shit, which was like, it's one of my favorite bands that I've ever been in, just because they're my peers. I don't have a lot of homies that are in my age group. And so they were like my first like core group. We're all still like the best of friends and we just have a kick-ass fucking time. Like, I love them so much. They let me rap the dumbest fucking shit. They'll lay down a dope fucking groove and we'll just be jamming out and I'll be like, I'm a dolphin, bitch. Da 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 da. Or like, I'm a condor. And they're so hip to all of my weird shit. And it's nice. It's fun. So my experience being in bands is that you learn a lot and you grow a lot and you get a chance to compromise, which I feel that if you don't get a chance to work with a lot of bands, a lot of solo artists that I've worked with that have never done that are really set on their own vision and their own intention, and there isn't much room for adaptation. which I think is really limiting to a lot of people. So I'm really happy that I've done a lot of jamming and have been in a lot of like live jam performances and been in a lot of bands because I'm a great compromiser. Like, I'm like, okay, so this is what you want and this is what I want. And we're going to put them together. And here are 3 ideas on how they could go together. Like, what do you think? Which has been awesome because being a cocky little shit that didn't know how to work with other people when I was 13, like, it didn't work out well.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's definitely a fucking really important thing to really learn and to get. As soon as you get that, like right away, the whole, it just opens up the creative door and all the opportunities just come in. You know what I mean?
Well, but also that coming together, 2 brains are better than 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for me, because sometimes I'm like, I have 2 brain cells. Like, there ain't even a full brain today.
So I think I'm going to hit you with a question that you probably, I would assume you would think was coming your way. But tell me your experience navigating through the music scene as a woman.
This one's fun. This one's really fun.
Fun question.
Well, it like really depends on what scene I am. Do you want like the good experiences or the bad
I
experiences
want
first?
whatever you want to share with us.
Can you pick one?
How about
pick
one
or the other?
One of each. We'll give one of each.
The really good experience that I have is finding women that I really look up to within the music scene, like Genoa, who I saw her play for the first time at the Misty Mountain Festival, which Greg and Simone did. Shout out to Greg and Simone, the cutest couple that ever did couple. And I saw her and she had a kid, she had York on her hip and a saxophone in the other hand and was singing, and Jace was mixing behind her, and I was just like, oh my God, you are everything. I love you. Can I train with you? And she was like, absolutely. And so I started working with Genoa, and she's been one of my best mentors. And being a woman in the music scene is a lot of the times I've been lucky enough to meet other like-minded women, and they're so willing to share their experience. Like a lot of the times when I meet another like male singer, or even sometimes females, like there's a lot of competition, but with a lot of like my mentors that I found, like I found some really, really powerful women that are just so giving and so compassionate and so willing to share their tips and tricks with you. And we like develop this little coven, you know, where you're like, these are the secrets of the industry, young blood. And you're like, yes, great. We will douse period blood on the flames and dance. Like, we now hold the power. So that's been really great. I think that the downside to the music scene as a woman, I also think that a lot of women are pitted against each other because that's just how it is everywhere. And so it's always been really frustrating for me where like I'm kind of a guy's gal. I didn't really have a lot of close female friends growing up because I'm just not invested in the competition. Yeah, that's why you and I were going to be besties. Where like I kick it with the dudes, and like I also really like boobies. So it was like really easy for me to be part of the guys because I was like, yeah, she's hot. I can get behind this. But also like a lot of girls in the music scene, you'll have to like fight for space and fight for the set, like to be center stage. And I just could never really get behind that. Like I'm not into competing. Like I want to respect you for what you do, and I also am very understanding of what I bring to the table. And so when I was first getting started, like I feel like a lot of the people around me wanted to compete and be like, oh well, you're getting started but you're not that good. And I was like, this is why I'm just going to hang out with the boys. Like, I'm like, you guys are mean. I don't want any part of it.
Bunch of mean girls, huh?
Yeah, a bunch of mean girls. A lot. I hate to say it, but a lot of singers are diva is the female version of a hustler, which is like really great. It's a Beyonce song and like kind of scary when you're actually in a room with somebody and you're like, I can't talk because
Imagine navigating the rap scene, the hip hop
No,
scene.
that's what I'm about to talk about
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
So to get even worse is the hip hop scene, where I have had so many times when I've like done my rap thing where dudes will come up to me and be like, yo, that was a really great show, but you know what I think you could have done better? And I would have been like, what? What could I possibly have done? They could be like, well, you know, when you were dancing with your hips, like you should have just dropped it. Like that's what would have made it a good performance. And I
What
was
the
like,
fuck?
I was like, okay, so if you can't think about fucking me, then I'm not a competent performer. Like, cool.
Oh my
Great.
gosh.
That's sick. And the thing about the hip hop community that is starting to change, but albeit slower than I would like, is that as a girl, like there's just so much ingrained toxic masculinity and like so much of performing as a woman within hip hop is like there's so sex, drugs, and rock and roll sells records, right? But in hip hop, it's like sex, drugs, and like being a sugar baby. And like I'm like, where's the Queen Latifah bitches at? I'm like, Unity. Who you calling a bitch? So I'm excited to contribute more to the movement of kind of empowering women to be a part of the hip hop scene without being subjected to objects, which has been a really big thing as a woman in the music industry, is being like, oh, sweetheart, you don't have to worry about the mix. You don't have to worry about what we're doing this. You don't have to worry about playing any instruments. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You know, you're a girl. Like, you don't need to know the key. You're the singer. And you're like, okay, this is nice. Cool. I'll just do nothing. I have tits, so I'll just stand on stage with my tits, and that's enough, right? Like, but I think that you and I are part of the change in that. You know, we're part of the next generation that's a little more hip to self-worth, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Also, like, I'm not a pacifist, so like if somebody talks shit to me, like I'm not above slapping a hoe.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta, you know, just
keep the pimp hand strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but has your experience in the hip hop scene been kind of similar? Like as a girl, you're not expected to have bars, you know? You're not expected to be cutthroat.
Well, also just being my size and being the way that I am when I'm not rapping, it's like, oh, I never would have expected that from you. I'm like, yeah, I'm different. But no, I mean, like, my experience is more of like, ironically, I don't get a lot of attention from men that way versus like online. Online, for some reason, men used to send me pictures and it's just like, bro, what are you doing? And then on
nobody
stage,
wants your dick, dude.
Yeah, like,
nobody fucking asked.
Yeah, like, it's like,
I get that I opened my mouth because I was singing a song, but that is not an invitation. Like
that. And then ironically, like performing in Santa Cruz, for example, for some reason a lot of women would think I was lesbian even though I was there with my husband. So it's pretty.
Also, congratulations.
Thank you. It's pretty. It's like a weird. There's no like. You can't be like a normal girl and just rap. Like you have to. Like there's always something else. You're either like secretly super sexual or you're like secretly lesbian. There's no just. You can't just be normal and like just rap.
Well, I'm sexual and bi. I got both things covered. Yeah,
but,
I got it.
But yeah, I mean that's my experience. It's pretty like interesting. But I mean I try not to like dwell on it. I'm more like you. It's just like if I meet chill ass people, we just came here to kill it. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm not tripping off anything else. If we network, we network. You know, if people want to be negative, it's just like, okay, go fuck yourself, whatever.
Well, but also I think that's the point that you get to when you become comfortable with your own art. And I feel when you really become a working artist is you're like, I'm confident at what I bring to the table and I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And as soon as I feel like as a woman in the industry, you really want everybody to like you. Like, maybe that's everybody in the industry, but I don't have a dick, so I can't really speak for the dick side of things. But you're like, I want everybody to like me. Like, I want to be really supportive. I want to be this. I want to be that. And I feel like the thing that made me realize that I was like really a working artist was I was like, you know what? Like, not everybody's going to vibe with me, and that's cool. Like, I don't need everybody at the table. Like I the people that jive with me, we've got it and we can network, and that's awesome. But I am done watering myself down in order to be palatable to everyone.
You just basically answered the question that was in my brain that I was gonna ask you, but you fucking answered it. It's fucking crazy.
We're vibing.
Bro,
we gonna be best friends.
For real. I was gonna ask you that is like what's the best advice you could give a woman watching this? Because I have some female artists that wanna, they wanna start rapping, they wanna start writing, and I'm just like, what?
Don't ever water yourself down for somebody else. Not everybody's gonna dig you. That's just how it is. And if you can show up confident, knowing what you bring to the table, like, figure that out. Figure out what your strengths are. Take the time to solidly understand what it is, what tools you have in your toolbox, and know that no one can take away what you know. Like, knowledge is power, and it is something that nobody can tell you you don't have. They don't fucking know. Like, there's never gonna be a magical person that can tell you how to be an artist or how to live your career or what you should feel when you're performing, when you're doing your thing. You are the master of your own. It's a choose your own adventure, and you're the main character. So I'd be like, don't ever let anybody tell you that they're the captain of the ship. Like, you are, what you bring to the table is yours, and it is worth something. So for everyone that's trying to get into it and is worried, figure out your shit. Figure out what you like to do, what you've worked on, and be confident in the work that you've put in, because it is worthwhile and it makes people take you seriously. Where you're like, this is what I have to offer. What up?
Perfect.
Unapologetic. Ladies, we are done apologizing.
That is the realest shit ever, dude.
Also, don't fight other girls.
Exactly.
They're not your competition. Nobody is gonna do something better than you. If you're supposed to be somewhere and people want you, or people want to book you, or people are gonna think you're the best one at the show, is because you bring your own shit. It's not because anybody's better or worse than you. We're all just different.
I'm just like glad that you said like everything that you said. I don't think anyone could have ever said it perfectly, understandably, the way that you fucking did. So there's a gem for all you female listeners. Just play it back. Just play it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I'll repeat. This your mantra. I know my shit.
So I heard that you're going to be in a music festival.
Hell yeah!
Tell us about that.
Me and Jackie Dope entered into this contest for Lucidity Regeneration back before the plague. And it was basically, you submit a song about regenerating the earth, and whoever's video got commented on the most times after the allotted period won an hour-long slot at main stage. And me and Jackie just fucking grinded, bro. We grinded so hard. I got banned from all of my social media accounts. I think I must have been messaging like 600 people a day for a couple of days. And they were finally like, you've sent over 14,000 messages. You cannot use Instagram for 6 days. And so we were up against this other girl, Brianna. She has a name that is pronounced in a certain way. I might not know it, but somebody does. And it was us and her, and we were like neck and neck. And we ended up winning. And so then the plague, and everything got canceled. Which was, as I'm sure all of the other artists that were making money off of gigging can relate, where it was terrifying. It was so scary. And it was so disheartening for me because it felt like that main stage of the festival was really going to be like the jumpstart to me playing the bigger shows. But I really thought that it was kind of going to catalyst the seriousness of my career. And so when everything went to Plagueland and we all got stuck doing whatever the fuck everybody got stuck doing, I was like, damn, dude, like this sucks. Everything sucks. Like, what an amazing opportunity. And then I got the email a couple months ago where they were like, Lucidity 2022 is a go. All of our previous offers still stand. And
Nice.
I called up Jackie and I was like, did you get the email? We're still playing, motherfucker. So we're going to be playing Lucidity April 9th. So the festival is going to be April 8th through 10th. It's in Santa Barbara. Get your tickets now. We're going to be playing April 9th at the main stage from noon to 1 p.m. And it's going to be badass. And you should all be there.
Hell yeah. I will put that information in the description of the audio and video. Okay, so you guys check that out. Fucking go. Santa Barbara's beautiful as well. So congratulations. That's freaking awesome.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it. I'm over the moon. Honestly, I'm like, what? Me? Main stage? Ah! Also, I feel like COVID was so hard as far as gigging goes, but no matter the trials and tribulations, I took a lot of time to hone my shit, and I feel that success is when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm.
And I've spent the plague getting prepared, you know? And so when I have these opportunities, I'm ready to fucking crush. I'm ready to kick ass and take fucking names because I know my shit.
So this next segment is I wanted to give people a chance on Instagram to go ahead and submit questions for you. So this first question is from Tiger Lily 564. I'll probably just try not to butcher your guys' names. But she says, what is your favorite thing about the music scene in Santa Cruz? What sparks your soul?
Something that I really love about Santa Cruz is that everybody is so down to jam. Like everybody is so fun to work with. And I think that there's a downside and an upside to that, but I really appreciate the upside, where I think the downside is that Santa Cruz is really easy to let go of being ambitious because it's kind of a dead end with a beautiful view, where like Santa Cruz is just very like chill. Everything goes real slow, you know? But also what I really love about that is that it makes people so excited to work with each other, and it's not fast paced. It's that people can meet you where you're at, and everybody is so kind. Like one of my first experiences busking was having Lyrical Eye like just walk up to me out the blue and be like, can I rap? And I was like, yes. And now Isaac is one of my dear friends, and I've known him for the past 9 years, you know?
Wow.
And it's just, Santa Cruz is one of those places where it's small enough that you can know everybody if you grew up here, but it's big enough that you can still meet new people, which is really fun. It has been really rewarding for me. And everybody is just, so fucking down to jam.
Hell yeah. And it's a very loving place too, and welcoming. So this next one is from Ruth. Who are some of your favorites?
Right now, I really love, I'm vibing on Masego really hard because he's just working with everybody, which I think is fucking dope. And a lot of the songs that we're hearing today on the radio and shit, like a lot of them, Masego's just like hopping on doing instrumentals and making beats and featuring and doing his own shit. And I am over the moon about him. I think he's so cool. I love Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals. The Free Nationals going out and doing their own thing, kick ass. Andra Day, I don't know if whoever's listening to this, if you have not seen the Billie Holiday documentary adaptation shit, Get woke. Get woke to the times and go watch it. Andra Day is just one of the most powerful fucking female vocalists that I've heard in a long time. She's like our generation's Etta James. And she's so good. I will always love Queen Latifah with my whole heart. Mac Miller, R.I.P. Who else am I really vibing on right now? Jordan Ward. I just found this song called Holding Me Back, and I love it so much. There's this part where he's like, you built me up on some empty satisfaction. I'm so good, I can't find nothing to match it. And like, I fell in love for the first time, like a little bit before the pandemic happened. And it was about 3.5 years long. And then it ended pretty amicably, but I like hadn't really found a breakup song aside from the breakup songs that I'd written until I found that song by Jordan Ward, and I just like would listen to it and cry. Aww. Just be like, oh my God, man, you hit me in the heart. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I also, so it's Kamau. I don't know how the fuck you say that, but he's a singer and he does this song called Mango, and it's bitchin'. I think those are my favorite people right now.
Okay.
There's a lot more. I could talk to you for another hour.
You're good. Those are all different genres too, right?
They are.
It's a little good mix.
Yeah. Also, West Side Boogie, Mac Dre, fucking R.A. the Rugged Man, AC Alone, Typical Cats. Like, I'm in a very like either super R&B or like really old school hip hop. Like there's no like, it's either one or the other right now.
Going into the final segment of our interview, do you have anything coming up? What's the plugs? How do people find you? Any final thoughts?
So you can find me on any streaming platform if you want to hear my music under Trianna Feruza. On Instagram, I am love_the_trees. I have a YouTube channel where I pretty recently released a short film sort of music video called Like Roses that you should all go check out. It was tons of fun to make.
It's fucking amazing.
Go check that shit
out. Watch
them
smash a car.
I smash an Audi. Yeah, it's tons of fun. I got a lot of production value for that video just because my dad's car got totaled. And I was like, you can't use this car anymore. It doesn't drive. Like, let me smash it. So I did. And then what else? I have my website at www.triannaferuza.com. If you want to book me, if you want to do features, if you want anything. I'm also a music teacher. If you're like, I really want to sing, but I've never found my voice, I can help you find it. I'll be the Gandalf to your musical journey. And together we will find the Mount Doom of awesomeness. And then really the Lucidity gig. I'm going to be playing at Woodhouse Brewery on Thursday. It's Wednesday. I'm playing Wednesday from 6 to 9 at Woodhouse Brewery in Santa Cruz on February 16th. And I'm going to start doing kind of a residency there on Thursdays, even though this one's on Wednesday. And really just thanks for having me here.
Fuck yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you again. Once again, this is Artists at Work. You have now been introduced to Trianna. So fucking go follow her. Go, if you are local, go check her live music out because it is amazing. And thank you so much for being on. I will be including all the links and everywhere you can find her. So make sure you guys go check it out. Thank you guys for listening. This is Artists at Work. I'm your host, 1AM. We out.
Yeah.